if you're watching this video, Vanstock is for you. Hello! I am scared shitless.
And everybody's having a great time.
Just come to Alaska and we'll take care of you. I struggled with mental health a lot.
Hi friends, we're so glad you're with us again today. We just spent the last week at the most incredible event. It was actually only a 3-4 day event, but we had the opportunity to volunteer, so we were there a little bit longer. That video of that event, Vanstock, Alaska, is going to be out hopefully next week, but we really wanted to share with you the story of Vanstock.
It's a remarkable story.
It's a remarkable story, and before you see the actual event, we decided to go ahead and share this video where I had a chance to spend some time with Lindra and just have a beautiful conversation with her. So even if you guys weren't at Vanstock or didn't even think about going to Vanstock or
don't even know what it is,
have no idea what it is, there's going to be something in her story that appeals to all of us.
Even if you don't identify with it, you will know somebody that could identify with it, and then we just ask that you share it with them.
Yeah, and we usually don't, we're not one of those YouTubers that always says, share this video. But this might be a video that you find worthy of sharing with some people in your lives that may need to hear it. So we will send this to Lindra. Child, it's raining this morning. We've got a waterfall in the background, so you'll hear some water noise, but it's going to be nice to visit with her. What prompted you to do this? Why van life? Why van life Alaska?
Growing up in Alaska, I felt really isolated. There's not a whole lot of community up here, and I always just felt a little bit different having a wanderlust spirit, and I never really met anyone or had examples of what that could look like in real life. And I struggled with mental health a lot growing up here, seasonal issues, and the winters are so long and harsh. And in 2017, I realized that I didn't think I could make it through another winter in Alaska. And I've worked festivals for 13 years, and at that point I just needed a bigger vehicle to haul equipment. And then I realized that people lived in cars and vans. I lived in a car for several years when I was 16, but it wasn't by choice. And so I didn't realize that you could choose to do that and make it comfortable and work for you. I was living in a house at the time, and I realized that I was the happiest I'd ever been when I was sleeping by the ocean in my car. And so I found a van. I got the exact van that I always wanted, the 2004 Chevy Express 3500. I wanted that one specifically, and I waited until I found one on the market, and I built it out, and I left in the winter. I left in December of 2017. I drove down the Alcan in the snow and ice in 3 days. And it was really a life-saving mission for me. I just knew that I was going to make it if I didn't do something really drastic. And when I was 30 days fresh on the road, I went to Quartzsite, Arizona, and people, when I was getting ready to leave, they were like, where are you even headed? And I said, I don't know, but Bob Wells says that Quartzsite is the place to be. And I had never really left the state before. And so I just turned 22, and I headed straight to Quartzsite, and I went to RTR. And RTR completely changed my life. Many of my team at Vanstock, I met at RTR 7 years ago, and are friends for life. And I got introduced to a community that I instantly fell into, that I felt at home, and like people deeply saw me and understood everything that I believe in. I shortly thereafter realized, several months it was about 4 months later, I realized Alaska needs something like that. And I came back to Alaska to do my summer festival season. And it was I remember the exact moment when I thought of Vanstock. And it was in 2017 in May, and I was in Seward. And I have a video of me talking about it. And I was like, you know what? I think Alaska really needs something like that. And I think it would really benefit from the Nomad community. And I think that the Nomad community would benefit from Alaska. And I said I wanted it to be Vanstock. When I was a little kid, when I was 5, I watched the Woodstock documentary, and it blew me away. I thought it was the coolest thing that ever existed. And you know, there's pictures of me as a 5-year-old wearing Woodstock shirts. Like, I just thought it was incredible. And so I thought that Vanstock was fitting. I looked it up, and there was only one That 70s Show episode referencing a Vanstock. And there was no trademark, there was no nothing, nobody's ever used it. And so it was like a sign that this was gonna be mine. And yeah, I started planning Vanstock then. I, spent the winter thinking about it, wrapping my brain around what that would look like. I always knew that I wanted to put my own festivals on. Being vending festivals for so long, I was like, I think I could do that. I think that's a role that I might be fitting in. And so in February of 2019, I said yes. I was like, yes, it's going to be Vanstock 2020, and I'm going to start planning now. I came up with the poster idea when I was at a gas station in Baja, and it just spontaneously came to me. And I envisioned this like giant woman holding these vans with like a ribbon road going around her body with the mountains and sunshine. And I was just like, that's it. And I started planning Vanstock in 2019, and it was a go. The minute that I released the tickets, they sold out within 24 hours. People were so immensely excited for it. I found the land, everything was ready. It was as established as Vanstock is today. And, then COVID happened, and people were getting scared and asking me if I was going to cancel. And I was like, I'm going to keep going. Like, we're going to keep this alive. And then Canada closed their border. And I, came to realize that I was going to have to let it go. It was so sad. It was so sad. It was absolutely devastating for me. I fell into a really, really deep depression. I lost a lot of money on that. It was all self-funded by me. Every dollar that went into Vanstock I made by painting a face. And yeah, it was really, really hard. I had to borrow money from family. My whole season got canceled. I didn't have any income from any festivals I was vending, and I had to figure something out. It was a really hard 4 years, but people asked me, they're like, is Vanstock going to happen? And I was like, yes. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it will happen. I tried many things over the years. I had a state fair booth. I started a eco-conscious clothing company. I did so many avenues to try to raise enough money for Vanstock, but it just didn't work. I just couldn't get enough for what we needed. And then in December of 2023, I saw that Bob Wells was looking for interviews, interviews, and I was like, man, Bob Wells has really changed my life, and so maybe I'll apply. I didn't expect at all that he would reply to me. I was like, he's inundated. I'm not going to get an interview with Bob. And they replied to me within 8 hours and were like, can you be here this time? Please come. Bob really wants to meet you. In my email, I just shared like, oh, I'm from Alaska and I've been on the road for 7 years. And, you know, I just a little bit about myself. We did the interview. Bob was so nice. And I was just like, you know, thank you. This has been incredible. Thank you for your influence. And then he asked me to lunch. And his assistant, Linda, she's an angel. If you're watching, Linda, hi. She whispered to me and she's like, Bob has never asked anyone to lunch. And she's like, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna say yes then. So a few days later we went to lunch and my friend Josh came with me, and Josh is like, hey, you should tell Bob about Vanstock. And I was like, I don't want to. I am embarrassed. It's sad. It's a sad story. I don't really feel like chatting about that. And then he's like, Bob would think it's cool. Will you please tell Bob about it? So we went through the whole lunch, you know, a couple hours. And then Josh nudged me. He's like, tell him about Vanstock. And then Bob was like, yeah, what's that? And so I was like, yeah, I just held, you know, I was really inspired by you. I really love RTR and it changed my life. And, you know, in 2020, I told him the, you know, story and it got canceled and, you know, the end. But thank you, Bob. And then he's like, well, how much money did you lose? And I was really shocked and I thought about not telling the truth, but I did. I just told him how much money I lost. And then instantly he said, I can do that. And I was like, what? What do you mean? What are you talking about? And then he's like, you get a lawyer, protect yourself. I'll give this money. And he's like, I will do nothing. You will do everything. And we'll make it happen. And I felt like my soul escaped from my body. I felt like a Make-A-Wish kid. And I cried and I cried and I cried. And I was in shock for like a week. I contacted everybody I knew. I called my mom. I called Randy, who's our vendor manager, and just helped me so much throughout this event. And Randy's my good friend. And years prior, in like 2022, I told her about my dream of Vanstock. And I was like, I really want to do this. And she's like, I will help you. She's like, whenever it happens, I will help you. And so I called Randy and I was like, Randy, you're never going to believe it. I was like, we got the money for Vanstock. And she's like, no way. It was incredible. I camped with Bob for like 3 months and we just talked about it. We went on a walk every night. We talked about logistics, how it was going to work, talking about donations to HAWA, using Vanstock as a fundraising event for HAWA. And I just admire Bob so much, and to be able to create something to where I could potentially give back to what he's doing, incredible. He's like, I will promote this as much as I can. He's like, I want this to be successful. We're going to do videos. He's like, we're going to do a video on the property. He's like, I'm going to drive up there. I'm going to make this be as successful as it can for you. So I started planning, and it's been like 20 months of planning until this moment. And the reason why I want Vanstock to work and that I never gave up on it is that I think the universe wants it to happen. You know, I feel like everything is being put in place so that it can happen. And now, having hindsight, I think it was canceled. You know, for me, I think it was canceled because I wasn't ready. You know, I wasn't as self-developed as I am now. I'm not the same person, you know. I've grown so much over the past 5 years that I was ready now. And that's why it's happening now. Vanstock is something that I would have wanted as a kid. You know, if I went to Vanstock as a 5-year-old and I got to see that you don't have to do the, you know, get a job and, work for 30 years and retire, and, you need a house, all of those things. If I realized that there were other options, I think that my mental health would have been much better as a child. I think it would have given me hope. Like RTR gave me hope for my own life. And I've always said that if Vanstock can save one person's life, then it's totally worth it. Vanstock isn't about money. It's not about profit. It's about giving back to people and creating a place where people can make friends and not feel so alone. And be outside and give themselves the gift of time. Or maybe if they're in their life and they're really unhappy, it's a way to come and realize that you can change your life. You have the power to do that. And you can do it with no dollars. You can do it with zero money. Bob says the best car to live in is the one that you already have. And I strongly believe in that. And it prevents homelessness. And I'm doing this to hopefully create a ripple effect so that people can have hope in their own lives and heal from what they need to heal from. And this year was just so beautiful and an absolute dream come true. My inner child's so happy. She's so happy. And so many people have said that this is the most fun they've ever had. And we had someone last night who is a doctor locally in Palmer, and he is from New York. And he said that when he was 13 years old, he snuck out and went to Woodstock. He was there, and he said that this is the most fun he's ever had since Woodstock.
Is this what you pictured it would be?
This is exactly what I pictured it to be. I have thought about Vanstock almost nonstop for 8 years, and it has been living rent-free in my head. Just dreaming about it, picturing it. I was like, man, I really hope Vanstock, we can get a lake. And we got a lake. And I envisioned the multiple camping fields. I envisioned the stage by the lake and the people. And I've always wanted people from Argentina to be here. I was like, I want Vanstock to be a party for them. It's such an incredible feat. And they get here and nothing happens. It's beautiful, but I feel like you need a parade. I feel like you need a round of applause and a trophy. Like, I had a friend who I met in Mexico who was on the Pan American Highway, and he arrived here. He broke down in a Walmart parking lot. A mechanic lied to him, stole all of his money. He was living off of Top Ramen and was trapped and had nothing. And I towed him to my family's house, and we took care of him, and we fed him, and we got him on a plane, and his bus is still at my family's house, and it broke my heart. And, people who have the courage to completely reinvent their life and drive the Pan American Highway, it's the coolest thing ever. And we have 50 people here that drove from Argentina. And it all just worked out naturally. It's exactly the way that I pictured. People, they're like, it's impossible to have a festival and have nothing go wrong. That is not true. It's not true. Nothing went wrong. It went exactly the way that it was supposed to go. It was the smoothest thing I've ever experienced. Our volunteers, Daisy here, absolutely incredible. I never could have even curated a more helpful and kind crew for Vanstock. And I'm just so humbled that people saw my vision and saw my intent with this and believed in it so much to drive all the way here. And I knew that. I was like, people just want an invitation. Just come to Alaska and we'll take care of you. And I am proud to say that we took care of 700 people for 4 days.
And what of Vanstock 2026?
Oh, yeah. This year we did have less attendees than what we were permitted for. We had I think I said 700, but we had 560-ish people, and we were permitted for 2,500. And so we weren't able to financially make the money that we needed to have a lump sum to do it again. but I am fully trusting that it's working out. I am going to send it and do it again and just hope that it works out. I started when I said that I was going to do Vanstock and started planning in 2019, I actually had $0 in my bank account, and I did it anyway. And I can do it again with all these incredible people here, and knowing their experience and how positive it was. They're going to tell people, they're going to tell 3 people, and we're going to be able to get the amount of people here that we need to be able to largely donate to HAWA and to help the indigenous groups of Alaska and be able to really improve the event. I want to, do more. I want to offer more. People want to be a part of Vanstock. People have a beautiful experience here, and people feel really cared for, and that's what matters to me. And I don't care that I'm leaving the event with much less dollars than I already started with. I am going to trust that I'm going to be okay, and I'm going to trust that Vanstock's going to be okay. And sometimes you just have to face your fears, and the universe loves it when you face your fears. When you are so deeply afraid of something and you go into that and do it anyway, you are heavily rewarded. And that's this whole process. I have been terrified. People said, "You're so fearless and brave." I am scared shitless. I am absolutely terrified at every moment. I just do it anyway. And that's, I think, the biggest takeaway and difference is absolutely never give up on your dreams. Don't. Just don't. Do whatever you can to make your dream become a reality. Nobody is as passionate about it as you. And if you are the only one that's passionate about your dream, convince people to be passionate about it too. Give them a reason to believe in you. I didn't have to convince anybody to be here. I just said what it was. This is what it is, And this is how it can benefit you. And people came. And I don't feel like I'm unusual. I don't think this is luck. I think this is pure perseverance and not giving up. And I believe that for everybody. I just want to tell people that Vanstock is for you. It is for everyone, all people, all forms of camping. I've created it. There's a wide variety of demographics of people here. We have children, we have people in their 80s. This is a safe place to be and be your authentic self. And I want to thank everybody who has made this possible and believed in me. I really want to thank Bob. I really want to thank Bob for instantly believing in my vision after an hour of knowing me. I didn't even ask. And I want to thank Linda, his helper. She's so sweet. I love her. And I want to thank my friend Josh. He was there when I came up with Vanstock, and he's seen it all happen. He bailed me out of the first one, and he's here, and he's just had my back 250% this whole time. And I want to thank my family too. My family's seen me struggle my whole life. I was a depressed kid. And I know they're really proud of me, and they believed in me too. And little Brooke, I met Brooke last year, and I told her I was going to do Vanstock, and she just thought it was cool immediately. While I'm mind melting on the computer planning all of this, Brooke is at the mailbox. She's at the grocery store. She's doing my laundry. She is going to the storage unit, hauling things, running errands, picking people up from the airport, bringing them here. She is incredible. Every time I've needed her, she has shown up for me 1,000%. And her mom, Nikki, is provided the housing. She's our sponsor, the Apiary, which is an incredible hostel in Palmer. And she provided housing for all of our musicians and gave me an opportunity to give the musicians that experience. I really wanted to be able to house them and take care of them. And their property is 5 minutes down the road. And it was like a retreat. they said that they feel like they're on vacation. And that was so special. And all of the volunteers, Daisy, you too. I'm really speechless. Michaela's our volunteer manager. She has been incredible and reliable. It's been awesome to have her. She's badass. And Dion, my friend Dion, he drove here from Florida. And he has helped so much, and we've shared some really beautiful connections. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. Randy!
Boy.
Oh my gosh, Randy! I adore Randy. I love her so much. She's one of the most incredible people I've ever met in my life. And she loves me and believes in every single thing that I'm doing, like 2,000%. And she plays the trumpet really, really well. And she got to be on stage last night and close out Vanstock. And she played for 2 hours and was smiling, and she's a musician, and seeing her close out Vanstock just made my heart so happy. And Amanda and Adam with Boyd Bison Ranch, they believed in my vision, and they trusted me that I would take care of this land. This is the most perfect place for this. I'm the first person to ever have a festival here, and they took a lot of risk on me. I could have really hurt this property, and we didn't. And thank you to all the attendees who were so kind, so happy to be here, who picked up after themselves, who were being gentle with the fields, who respected our no fires and our guidelines for the event, and respected the wildlife and bison that are here. And I've never been to a festival that went like this, ever. It
was perfection.
Everybody here.
Absolute perfection.
And thank you to the people who are watching this. And I hope that you come. I hope that you come and support Daisy and Dean and their channel. They're incredible people. Aww. Absolutely incredible people. They deserve your love and support. Thank you.
Friends, I could stand here and add another hour to all of this from my perspective. It's been beautiful. I don't even have the words. That it's just been a fulfilling, beautiful experience. I thank Lindra and all of the people that she thanked. And if she forgot anybody and she's like, dang it, I should have said so-and-so, I'm gonna put them on the screen. Because there are so many people involved. So if you get a chance to do what we believe and hope is going to be Vanstock 2026, make it happen. Make it happen for yourself. I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. Until next time, this is Grassroots Living, reminding you to get down to the grassroots of what makes you happy and live your love. We're thinking of ya. Peace out.
1, 2, 3.